to the soft mushroom caps of Lingumbury Grove as Laurel Butterbranch flitted from branch to branch, clutching a small woven basket filled with curious trinkets. Inside were a sprig of silver thistle, a marble that caught the morning light like a trapped rainbow, and a crumbled map of the grove, its edges browned by mischief. Below, her foxglove dress brushed the bark as she tucked the first clue into an empty snail shell tucked beneath a gnarled root. Pip, her scruffy dog who happened to talk as much as he barked, sat on a mossy rock, his nose twitching impatiently. His amber eyes followed her every move while he muttered something under his breath about being far too dignified for tricks. But Laurel caught the wag in his tail and knew he'd play along whether he liked it or not. "Your first clue," she announced with a slight impish grin as she tossed a tiny scrap of paper to Pip, who leapt to catch it between his teeth. He spat it out and grumbled loudly, but his curiosity got the best of him. As always, the rhyme told him to seek where the dandelions dance and the crows do not tread. Sniffing and muttering, Pip trotted off, nose to the air as he approached a sunny patch of dandelions. When he pawed through the grass, he found a shiny twig wrapped in a ribbon. Laurel, hiding behind a tree and barely containing her laughter, called out, "Good, but don't lose time sniffing." Pip sniffed harder, just to be contrary, but when he found a second note tied to the twig, he barked in triumph before he could even think to act bored. The scavenger hunt twisted through the grove, leading Pip past their favourite haunts. At the brook where they skipped stones, he uncovered a corncob pipe, though he swore he didn't smoke. And near the toadstool garden, he unearthed a tiny whistle she'd carved from cattail reeds. Each discovery came with a teasing little rhyme that sent him bounding to the next point, his complaints dwindling as his enthusiasm grew. Laurel followed, her wings glinting against the golden light as she stayed just out of sight, her laughter drifting like the scent of honeysuckle. At the base of the oldest oak in the grove, Pip dug up a battered pocket watch, its hands frozen in a time neither of them could read, but felt oddly magical. He stared at it long enough to feel a pang of wonder before realizing another note was stuck to its chain, sending him on his final sprint. At last, beneath a cluster of bluebells that swayed in the gentle breeze, Pip found the grand prize, a basket filled with hand-picked blackberries, a honey cake dusted with powdered sugar, and a small collar Laurel had woven from meadow grass, tipped with a silver bell. Laurel emerged, clapping her hands and laughing as Pip puffed out his chest, the bell jingling softly as he strutted around like a hero of old tales. He declared the hunt an exhausting ordeal, but allowed that the honey cake was just satisfactory enough to compensate. They ended the day curled up by the brook, sharing blackberries while Pip recited his overblown version of the hunt, embellishing his trials with wild exaggerations. Laurel listened, her eyes twinkling, happy for the simple joy of this day, ordinary in Lingumbury Grove, extraordinary in its way.